You got 10 seconds?
Go ahead.
Here's what I'll say. Get help. And so we all got cars, but there's no way you don't bring your car to get maintenance. Even if everything is clicking, they're going to call you and say it's time to get to maintenance. And so normally what happens is that people try to master something they've never done.
Yeah.
You've never had a marriage that lasted forever.
Right.
Till death do you part.
Right.
So it's new to everybody.
Yeah.
And so at times you need to get help. And there needs to be someone besides you two, you know, sort of in there helping you, topping off certain things, just like the antifreeze and the oil. Somebody's under the hood and giving you what you need so that you can keep going smoother.
Welcome to Tell the Truth Tisha, where honesty reigns supreme and authenticity is our currency. Join me as we dive into the depths of truth, unraveling stories and uncovering perspectives with my hot guests, hot topics, dope conversation, and more. Make sure you tune in. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Tell the Truth Tisha. I am your host, Latisha Pittman. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope that thus far you have enjoyed all of the episodes and all of the wonderful guests that we have had on the show. Do me a favor, smash the like button at the bottom of your phone and then subscribe to the channel. Make sure you tell your family and your friends to tune in for an inspirational video with Tell the Truth Tisha. You can catch these videos every Monday, and if we're late, charge it to my heart and not my mind, okay? We have a wonderful team working, and we're trying to get all of these videos out for you guys. So before I introduce you to our guests, I have a wonderful intro for them because these are some wonderful people, all right? So he sent me his whole name too, I'm reading it. Clarence Elvis Carter III is a dedicated leader and family man, passionately committed to his roles as a husband, father, and pastor, with a natural talent for offering encouragement and guidance. Clarence's leadership journey began in his youth and flourished through his services in various capacities within his local church. He has held positions as a deacon, minister, teacher, mentor, and ultimately the overseeing pastor of the World Changers Church, Cleveland, under the leadership of Creflo and Taffy Dollar. Despite the church's closure due to the pandemic, Clarence continues to provide pastoral care, teaching, and mentorship. Additionally, he co-founded the Good News Tour to spread God's grace globally and launched the Podcast Lounge, where he hosts the podcast Elvis Behind the Curtain. Lakeeta D. Carter, a native of Cleveland, Ohio, is a dedicated wife and mother, celebrated for her vocal ministry and unwavering teaching of the Word of God. Recognizing her divine calling at 18, Lakeeta delivered her first sermon in 2009 and has since inspired many through her speaking engagements. In 2018, she founded DBL Design Agency, a graphic design business known for exceptional client care and enduring partnership. Together with Clarence, she launched the Good News Tour and expanded the message of Jesus Christ beyond traditional church settings. Despite the challenges posed by the pandemic, Lakeeta and Clarence remain integral members of the World Changers Church community, continuing their mission to share the transformative power of grace. So tell the truth, Tisha family. Please help me welcome some personal friends of mine. They don't like me to call them this. They told everybody not to, but this is Pastor and First Lady Clarence and Lakeeta Carter. Welcome, y'all.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yes, y'all. Yeah, and also the sponsors for Tell the Truth Tisha. I have not Tell the Truth Tisha, but Inspired on Purpose with Latisha. So I know you guys have seen it because I've tagged it. Make sure you follow. It's on what? All platforming networks?
All things the Podcast Lounge.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Podcast Lounge.
So what's up, family?
I'm excited. Thank you for having us. I really appreciate it. You know, it's always good to come and sit down and communicate and just dialogue and have some fun. And hang out with your friends. And so I appreciate you having us for sure.
So, yes, and you heard that friends, right? Because we've been friends for eons, okay? That's like telling our ages. But, yes, we have a long friendship, and I think that it's genuine, right? Because not a lot of people have genuine friendships in their life or people that they inspire to look up to, and I think you guys are pillars of the community. So that's why I wanted to bring you on to talk to you and see what's up. What is going on with the Carters?
It's probably too much to handle in just a 30-minute time, you know, but we got a little time to dive into it. But we're excited. There's so much going on. I know we'll get into some of it, you know, but just, you know, it's not about just how much is going on, but it's about whatever it is that you have going on. Just make sure it's right in line with your purpose and right in line with, you know, what you're called to do and what you're supposed to do, because otherwise you become a busybody.
Absolutely.
And so these days, unlike when we were a lot younger, you know, we were busybodies then, just doing everything. Now we only do what, you know, what we feel led and called to do, and and somehow that's an overwhelming schedule.
Yes.
You got something?
Oh yeah. I guess I can piggyback off that. Yeah, the calendar has been a bit much. But like he said, I think it's finally getting down to the things that we're really passionate about. So besides being wife and mom, running the business and helping Clarence and all the things. But it's been really good. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm probably the happiest I've ever been in this season of my life. Gone through a lot of changes, but I'm just grateful to be alive, grateful to be here with you. Yeah. And God is good.
He is. Yeah. Absolutely. So let's go back a spell, few years, maybe a century. What inspired this union?
Oh man.
My goodness.
Jeez, that's way back. So, you know, some people say, you know,
we got to show the picture.
Yeah, we'll show you the picture. But you know how some people say, you know, high school sweethearts? Yeah. Yeah, we went way back before that. Okay. And so our families knew each other. Okay. And I've been wanting to marry this girl since I was 5 years old.
And so, me fall back in my seat.
Since I was 5 years old. And so you know, we grew up in the same church, and our families were really tight. As a matter of fact, my grandfather founded this church called Little Star Missionary Baptist Church, and then years later, her grandfather ended up pastoring the same church as well. And so that just show you how connected our families were. And ever since then, I wanted to marry this girl.
5 years old, Clarence.
5 years old. I was 5 telling people that I was going to marry her. Wow. And we would go to church, and then, I mean, when I was smaller, I just wanted to go to church to get that hug after. So, you know, you hug people after service. I wanted to hug her after service. So and so couldn't wait to do that. And so
At 5.
At 5. And so back then, and it kept going on and on and on. And, you know.
He kept asking me out on dates. Yeah. And I kept saying, no, you know, either I had a boyfriend or it was mostly I had a boyfriend.
I didn't care about the boyfriend. Right. I mean, all I needed was one yes.
Listen here. So guys, be persistent is what I'm hearing. He said, I heard you say no, but it's still a yes for me because you didn't completely shut me down. Okay, so come on. So then what?
Okay, so you want to tell?
So the summer after my first year in college, I wasn't dating anybody, and he asked me out again, and we just started talking on the phone. And naturally, I'm not like a natural talker, right? So a lot of times when I wasn't clicking with somebody, like it's just like holding the phone, you don't know what to say. But with talking with Clarence, one of the things that I really loved about him was that it was just easy to talk to him. And I found myself just talking and flowing, and it was easy, you know. And so he asked me out, took me out on a date. You could tell about the date.
Yeah, I got to set the date up. So
I know I've been waiting. Brag about that.
No doubt. I've been waiting all my life
to share this.
For this moment. Okay. Right. And so I was working at the Brown Stadium. Okay. And so I used to work nights. And so what happened is that this particular night I was off, but I had the coworkers set it up for me. So The date was at the Brown Stadium.
Oh, wow.
And of course she wasn't supposed to be there.
Okay.
You know, but they can't fire me now because I'm long gone.
Right, right.
And so they had this club, big restaurant in there, super nice, and I set up a table for her. And on that table, I mean, what did we have? I had fruit for you, and did I sing to you or just
read a poem?
I read a poem. It was a stage. I got on stage and read her a poem, you know, while she sat at this romantic table. Gave her a tour of the stadium. Let her walk on the field.
Oh, wow.
And so I was going. I was going for it.
Yeah.
And so I went for it. And were we boyfriend and girlfriend after that?
Yeah.
It was a done deal.
Okay, yeah, I would say.
After that, it was a
I mean,
wrap.
you pulled out the red carpet for
did.
the
He
royal
did.
treatment. So,
He did.
Yeah.
okay, so speak to that. So, at the Brown Stadium, you're like,
Yeah.
what? Talk to me about what was happening in that moment.
I was already feeling him. Like, we was already vibing. You know what I mean? And I knew that he loved God. You know, I really appreciated that about him and loved that about him because that was important to me. I had other boyfriends who, you know, you just feel like you pulling somebody along. They don't love God as much as you, but we were equal in that way. And so he actually picked me up from a young adult Bible study or something that we had that night, and then we had that date. And I mean, somebody go all out for you like that. It's kind of like, yeah, I guess we can make this official. And so, yeah, it was just since then.
But
Y'all been
things move quickly though.
Okay.
So what happened is we started officially dating, I believe, in July. And August, June. In August, I asked her to marry me.
2 months later.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would have asked her in June, but I thought that was a bit weird.
A bit much,
So
right?
I figured August, I can give her till August.
Okay, so Keita, what did you say? What did you think?
Yes, no. I knew it was right, and I was willing to take a chance, and I loved everything about him, and still do. I love you, boo.
Yeah.
And
baby.
so, like I said, I just found it easy to be with him, and I didn't feel any fear. I didn't feel any, you know, let me think about this. Like, I just knew that it was right, and I was willing to take that chance with him, and glad I did.
Aww.
And I'm still in love with her. I'm talking about more now than ever.
Y'all making me uncomfortable now.
And so I think it's important to say right there, though, that I was 19.
Yeah.
Or 18.
She was 18. I was 19.
Okay.
When I asked her to marry me.
And so, of course, you know, I think about our own kids right now being that age.
Right.
Like, if you talk about marry somebody, I'd be like, no, you too
right.
young. And of course, that's everything that we heard. But I think it's important to say that it's possible. Because here are, you know, an example right here that, you know, when God is in it and he's first and he put y'all together, it doesn't matter the age. You know, you think about back in the day, they used to get married at 15,
Yeah, they
you know,
did.
16 and stuff. And those marriages lasted forever. So I don't think it's about the age more than it's about the purpose and the maturity of the two people and the willingness to make it work.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be celebrating 20 years in August.
Oh, yeah.
20 years.
20 years. That's
So
for sure.
see, and there's something that you guys can speak to because you've grown together, like your entire adult life. Like you went from being teenagers, 18, 19, to becoming adults in a relationship, ting to figure out how to be in a relationship. So please speak to that because there are some people who are like, or are on the fence about, is this something that I want to do? But I'm so young and I don't know. So what would you say? Like, speak to that for me.
Yeah, no, we definitely did have to grow up together. Clarence was a little bit more mature than me. He had his son Terrell. I think
I had Terrell in high school, so I was 10th grade when I had my first son, and so when we started dating, she was basically like stepmom early on.
Yeah, so
it caused me to grow up pretty fast.
Yeah, that was rough. Clarence already had his own place. He was used to being the adult.
Yeah.
I'm coming in straight out my mama's house, don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You know, just wild and in love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and also on top of that, I didn't grow up with my father, not in the house. He was around, but he didn't grow up with us in the house. And so, I'm saying that to say, learning how to be with a man and to know what a marriage looks like and to know how to serve a man or to know how to be a wife. Like I didn't have that mirrored in front of me. And so a lot of the times I leaned on Clarence, not like a father, but almost like I guess like the authority that I never had. You know what I'm saying? Like that male authority. So I leaned on him a lot. And I think I was still kind of childlike in the beginning. But he was patient with me. I was patient with him. And we had to wait until we just kind of found that rhythm. And we relied on each other and helped each other. Like, he wasn't down on me because I was a little bit more immature or just didn't know as much as he did. And then he also accepted my strengths as well. And so the young thing, you know, you eventually grow out of it. But I'm grateful that we did it together, you know, and not through fighting or strife.
Yeah.
And really, the start of it was two people committed to the covenant. And so we were in love, but everybody gets in love. Everybody says they're in love. My daughter's 11 and she's probably secretly in love with somebody across the room.
Somebody on the TV.
And so, right. So, and so I'm saying all that to say everybody says they're in love, but it's a difference between being in love and making it last forever.
Absolutely.
And so to make it last forever, to get to this place where we didn't just stumble into 20 years. We've been happy for 20 years. Doesn't mean we didn't have any ups or downs, but we've been happy for 20 years. And the reason for that is that we were committed to the relationship. And so a lot of times when people ask me, you know, how do you make it last? Like, how do you do this? And so a lot of times they're trying to find 5 steps to this and 10 steps to that. But it's not about getting her to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's not even, we were like so opposite when it came to certain things.
Still.
Like, I mean, still opposite as it relates to what we like and what's in common. Because if you notice, when we came up, people would always say, find somebody you got a lot in common with. Well, we didn't have, other than Jesus, I don't know what we had in common.
Okay.
Because we were so opposite.
Yeah, but they say opposite is attract.
And we were so in love, and we took each other as is. And so even to this day, I tell her, if you never improve, you know, I want this, I want you, and I'm going to make this last forever.
Wow.
And so I let her know, like, you don't have to improve. You know, don't get it twisted. There's some stuff that's like, girl, come on.
Right.
You know, and I'm sure she like, dude, you know.
Right.
But outside of that, I want her to know and have the peace to know that he ain't gonna walk away from me because of my imperfections. And so a lot of times people don't make it because somewhere along the line they put themselves in the center and somewhere they didn't get their way. And that caused the divide. You know, where I'm here to be an advantage to her. And so I put her in the center and I trust God that having her in the center, that he will take care of my needs through her eventually. And if I don't get everything I want for her, I'm committed to loving her for life. And that's kind of the dedication we have essentially towards each other. And so if she never measures up, and so it's not about 50-50, it's about me willing to give her 100% of me and me trusting God with whatever percent I essentially get from her. But here's the thing, have anybody ever given you money and you not felt grateful?
Right.
Or thankful or wanted to reciprocate that? And so there's something about emptying your love towards another person that you will, without a doubt, it will make its way back to you. And so again, you know, to be in the position that we are, it comes from being committed to each other and to the covenant and committed to making it to forever. So at this point, I don't have to get my way. I don't even want my way. If anything, we'll argue over giving each other your way. Well, let's do what you want. Well, no, let's do what you want. Well, no, let's do what you want. And that's kind of how this thing has sort of metamorphosed itself into what you see today.
Wow.
Sure.
So seeing the dynamics of your relationship and being young, growing together. Today on social media, a lot of people, or you see podcasts where guys are not invested, like you said, in their women or just the essence of a woman. And then you see women who take the position of, I don't need a man. So growing in God and growing in love, how do you view today those types of things, like when you hear it and see it?
Yeah, I think on the female side, well, first let me say this. I don't think it's wrong with saying you want to be single. I don't think it's wrong with, you know, because I think we've all heard it, like we put marriage like on this pedestal, like that is the goal. Well, that's not the goal for everybody. Some people are better alone. They want to be by themselves. And so, and I also think that really that's a mature decision. Like if you know you are a self-centered person, selfish person, you like what you like and you're not willing to compromise, which is what marriage is, then it's best for you to be single. So in that aspect, I don't think singleness and staying single is a bad thing. So on the flip side of that, though, I think a lot of women say they don't need men after being hurt or after not seeing an example of a good man. Like if you say the statement, you know, all men are dogs, it's because you've seen a lot of men not treat women right. And you're afraid really to get into a relationship to have that happen to you. And so I think that women have to come to a point where they do some inner work, some soul healing, you know, before God, and allow him to heal the parts that sometimes we cover up so good. Like we can act like, no, I'm this strong, independent CEO woman, you know, got it all together. And on the inside, we're just broken and we're using that facade to cover up something, you know. And I love the fact that women are saying, no, I'm in my soft girl season. Like I'm in my, I'm coming back to femininity and softness and not always trying to be the boss. And I think one thing that has allowed our marriage to flourish is that Clarence elevated me. Clarence always wanted me to boss up, wanted me to speak up, wanted me to shine, you know, and never felt threatened about that. And in return, it's like I knew that when I could take that hat off and I could come down and be my wife, I mean, the wife, the soft woman, you know, he accepted that. And so I think a lot of women are just afraid. And that's what's causing that, you know, I don't need a man syndrome.
And I think from the male's perspective, you know, I think to really be at a place where you're faithful, committed, and you're dedicating your life to one woman, you know, it's a place of vulnerability. And the truth is, most men are not used to being vulnerable. And so, you know, you come up in a certain culture, you know, and that culture is connected to conquering as much as you can, as many as you can. And so, and a lot of times they use certain things as an excuse, like if they're not getting something at home, they use that as the excuse while they're roaming and those kind of things. And the truth is, you know, they're not used to commitment. They're not used to being vulnerable. And they still have the residue of the culture they came up in. So what happens is they don't see enough of the kind of man that they really want to be. Here's the part we miss sometimes, is that they want to be a better man. They don't want to be like they are. You know, it doesn't matter how much, I'm telling you, they don't want to be that way, but they don't know another way because this is the way they've always known.
That's good.
And so what happens is they don't know how to say no. They don't know how to be at work, a lady flirts with you, and you have to turn that down because of what you're committed to. Like they don't know how to say no to that. And so, so I think there's so many layers to why men just, you know, do what they do, you know, and why they fail to commit to the one woman that they probably love the most. Here's the crazy thing about men in general. When I say men, I'm talking about male and female in general, is that we have no problems with self-inflicted wounds. A lot of times we're looking for this grand reason why things are happening. And sometimes, you know, men find themselves hurting themselves and they know, if I make this decision, this has the potential to destroy me and my family, you know, and they still can't stop themselves. And it's kind of close to why a person that drinks a lot can't stop from getting that next drink, or a person that loves weed can't stop from hitting the weed. It's not that they don't want to, but they don't know how to tap into the part of them that can help empower them to be what they envision. And most men envision themselves better, but just don't know how to tap into it. And that's why a lot of times I try to talk to men to help them tap into the part of them that they really want to be. And a lot of times the vulnerability is what stops them, because for me to love her the way that I love her, then I have to be my most vulnerable self, you know, and it's not always easy when you don't feel like it's being reciprocated, or when because the truth is they're afraid that if I'm this vulnerable, that you will have a chance to hurt me. And I don't want to give you that chance to hurt me. So I'm going to stand on this mountain of toughness and continue to do what I grew up doing. You know?
But so my question is, why are those insecurities present with me, and why do they feel like the person that they've dedicated, and for the woman who's shown herself to him, I'm here, I'm your partner, why do they feel that this part, because ultimately it sounds like I'm still viewing this person as a potential enemy for me that can use this against me. So why is that though?
It's a personal thing. So it has nothing to do with her. You know, that's why a lot of times I have to talk to women too. Because again, you can't help but to somehow look at yourself in the mirror if you're a woman when a man is not right, to wonder, you know, what do I need to do to help him to get to this place where he choosing me and only me, and he loving me the way that he said that he would. And I try to let them know it's not you, it's him. So there is a personal battle that's going on the inside of a man, and that's a lot of times what people don't see, the personal battle that men sometimes face, and it's a lot of times it's a pride battle, it's an insecure battle, and all of these kinds of things. It doesn't make an excuse for it. It just lets you know that there's an inner battle, and this battle is mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and this inner battle comes like somebody passed a lot of these things down. So their pride and their insecurities, a lot of these things, some way, somehow was passed down through their family, through culture, and they embraced it. And now they have to undergo a change in order to become this thing like what you're saying. They have to undergo a change to do that. And sometimes you ever back in the day, your room probably was always clean, but my room wasn't clean when I was coming up. But you ever see a really junky room, and when you look at it, it's so much junk you don't know where to start. And it's so deflating that you don't even want to. You just walk away. You just find something else to do. Like you quit before you get started. And a lot of times when a man actually looks himself in the mirror and sees his shortcomings and his failures and all that he has to change, that's like seeing that dirty room. And you're trying to figure out, where do I start? And so a lot of times they try to start on the outside. And they think the outside is going to change the inside. Now here's the crazy part about it. There's nothing you can do on the outside that's going to change your inside, but whatever you change on the inside, it's going to automatically change on the outside.
100% agree.
And so a lot of times they don't know where to start, and they know they need to change, but they just don't know exactly how. And they've tried to buy the diamonds and take her on vacation, do all the things that get them a good post, and all these outer things. But at some point, you're going to have to deal with that part of you that truly needs to change.
That's good. Come on, Pastor. That's so good. So listen, so you open the door, so I'm just going to kick it open a little bit. So you talked about speaking to men, and I did see where you, Antoine Moss, who will be a guest on the show, and Ronald Bailey had a forum. Shout out to the bros. Show height. Even though me and Keita are heights girls. That's right. I'm still born and raised East Cleveland.
East Cleveland is in your blood.
It's in my blood. But okay, so talk about that, because that dynamic right there, how did that come about?
Well, it's interesting that I sent them a text, and it was a picture of some motivational speakers, and so Eric Thomas, and so he had this thing going on, and I sent the picture, and I said, "Why can't we do this?" You know, and as soon as I said it, both of them responded like, "Let's go." And so from that point on, you know, we decided we start getting together, we start praying, we start planning, but our interest was aligned, and our interest was connected to empowering, inspiring, encouraging as many people as we can. And we had gone through so much as individuals, we had gone through so much even as friends, that it would be irresponsible not to pour that back out and give that back to the community in the way that God has kind of, you know, built it up in us to do. And it turned into that. It turned into, you know, let's give back. And let's encourage and inspire whoever's going to show up. And at our core and at our heart, especially Antoine and Ronald, you know, is youth. You know, that is their thing. You know, and so we were fortunate to have we had everybody, youth, men, elderly, women, we had everybody there, you know, but at the core of their heart is to make sure this next generation have what they need, because somebody reached back to kind of pour into us. And so that came about through three guys just wanting to give back in any way that we could.
That's good. So before the podcast lounge, there was DBL Designs, correct?
Yep, DBL Design Agency.
Yes, who I'm going to be talking to after this show. None of y'all's business. Find out later. Anyways, so talk to me about that. What inspired DBL Designs Agency?
Yeah, I've been designing forever, and not knowing that that's what I was doing. You know, how you can be doing something and you don't really think of it as anything. You don't think it's a business. You know, it's just my church need a flyer and I'll do it, you know. And so I already was doing small projects for our church. When I was in college, I was on the PR team. My job was to do flyers and hang them up and let people know what was going on. So all of this was kind of in my background. Clarence really lit it a flame when he bought our first Mac computer. And he actually was doing some design first before he was doing it more seriously than I was. So he was designing like CD covers for the church and all, and so he was showing, hey, babe, do this for me, you know. So I'm helping him out. He's showing me design, and it kind of started flourishing even more since then. And so Clarence again said, well, I want you to do we was like with this group of pastors. We was like in this organization, and so he was like, I want you to do all their flyers for free, one flyer for free for each of them. And I was able to post that work and say, hey, here's some of the work that I've done. You know, if anybody interested, I ain't thinking nobody gonna reach out. I'm, you know, thinking one or two, you know, but that stuff, it just started snowballing. It started trickling in, and the trickle became a rain. And before I know it, I have this huge client list now, praise God.
Oh, hallelujah.
So, yeah, it went from Designs by Lakeeta to taking my name out of it to just DBL, so that I can really build it out as an agency. But God has been good, because I've been able to connect with all these different people and businesses and churches and organizations. And it's a blessing to be able to service them and to help bring their vision to life. And so DBL plays a huge part in how people show up on social media, you know, through their print materials. And so it's a big deal to me. And we hope to grow. We're doing good right now, but I hope to brand it even bigger. So
that's good. That's good.
And not to mention, she was working at the clinic, Cleveland Clinic. And, you know, at the time, you can't quit. Back then, you know, you got to do both. You got to go do 9 to 5.
And then
you got to do flyers all night, you know. And so, but God fixed it to where, you know, things got to a place where she's no longer at the clinic. She hasn't been there how long?
I left in 22.
In 22.
That's
so since
inspiring.
22, you know, she stopped working at the clinic and she does DBL Design Agency full time, you know. And where I started it, now she come along and just blows, and now I can't even do half of not even half of what she.
But what you said to the followers in the beginning was it was pulling me out of the middle and putting her there where the shine is on her. And look what you did. You gave. Not only did you gift it to her, but look at what it did. You know, that's amazing.
Because the role of the husband is the nurturer. People don't understand that. But as the head, you know, the body receives everything else from the head. Like, if you don't have a head, then you don't have anything else that's going to be working. And so the role of the husband is to be that nourishment. And I found that time after time, Clarence has showed up for me, promoted me, pushed me, talked me off a ledge, you know. And so I think being connected and married to a man of God that way, and having somebody understand their role as the husband, you know, brings about this flourishing in the wife, and she can be her best self, you know. And that's what I found.
That's good.
In these 20 years.
That's good. So we're going to wrap up in a minute, but I have a question, because you guys used to do this thing, right? It was a marriage retreat or seminar that you would put on.
Yeah.
Where is it now? Where is this?
Well, we're still behind the scenes. We're still doing a lot of counseling, a lot of coaching, and those kind of things. We do have a really big retreat. We partner with the Dorseys, and we have a really big retreat coming up next Valentine's Day. And so it's going to be really big. And it's going to be a weekend, the weekend of Valentine's Day. So we haven't, this is the first time anybody, so you have an exclusive.
Yes.
This is the first time.
We haven't
dropped it at all.
You heard it here first.
So we have not dropped it. And so it's going to be huge. They'll be getting it real soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the planning is already in the works.
So save the date.
Save the date. So we're going to let them know. So that Valentine's Day weekend, we're going to go somewhere to a retreat. And we're going to kick it, hang out, and get poured into.
But the date nights, to answer your question, was an extension of the Good News Tour.
Okay.
So we were going out spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ, telling people about Jesus, and then we realized, we had already knew, but we wanted to do something strictly for married couples, and so we did the Good News Tour date night, and so coming out to the wine boutique, black-owned business as well, to partner with them, sow into them, bless them, but also be a blessing to the couples, because I think that marriages don't get the infusion that they need most of the time, because we don't want to sit down with a counselor because we're too shy or prideful to do that. So I think that having those group sessions really helped a lot of people. So we're happy to host the event in February. It's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, please, because I would love to come. I'm going to say we would love to be there. Can always use some improvement in your marriage when you're growing up with somebody.
You better believe.
So oh God, now when we close, I always ask, what's your why? So what was your why behind all of this? The marriage, the businesses, the podcast launch that we didn't even touch into and talk about. Give like 5 seconds about that. Real quick.
Well, I'll say, I'll try to connect both. So the why with it all is essentially realizing that our time here is limited. Right. And so, there's nothing more fulfilling than giving. The Bible says it's better to give than to receive. And the reason it's better to give, because not only do you impact them, but you impact yourself. And so, this is our way of giving, to tapping into our God-given talents and gifts, ideas that come from Him, and giving that back out. And so the why is people. The why is you. The why is them. The why is the people we come in contact with, the lives we change, to be completely honest. That's the why. And what we get out of that is, it's not about money or anything like that. It's just about the fulfillment of knowing we changed somebody's life.
And the blessings behind the things that you're doing, because not a lot of people today can walk away from sustainability.
Oh no.
Okay?
No.
And then have it be what it is today, and then being trusting together and still working together to build that relationship.
Absolutely.
So we always leave our followers with a positive quote, and I'm going to ask that you speak to young couples who are aspiring to be married one day, or who are married and about that 7-year itch thing. It's real, but leave them something positive that they can aspire to within their own selves and also their marriage.
Okay. Go for it.
Me? Okay. I think I want to talk to those who may be struggling in the first part of their marriage, because that's always the struggle with that whole becoming one. You're trying to mesh two individuals. And so I think I would want to tell the listeners or the watchers that to stick in there. That it's going to smooth out eventually as you begin to submit yourself to God and come together and love on each other. And so when we counsel couples, I always let them know that there's an enemy loose. And so most of the time we look at each other and say, you're the enemy, you're the reason. And we don't really blame the enemy, the devil, for trying to destroy us and our marriage, the thing that we went into so blissful, so happy. What happened? And so I think that we have to know that there's an enemy loose, and we have to know that he's already defeated, and that it won't prosper if you don't let it prosper. And so stay in there, but fight the real enemy.
You got 10 seconds?
Go ahead.
Here's what I'll say. Get help. And so we all got cars, but there's no way you don't bring your car to get maintenance. Even if everything is clicking, they're going to call you and say it's time to get some maintenance. And so normally what happens is that people try to master something they've never done. You've never had a marriage that lasted forever, till death do you part. So it's new to everybody. And so at times you need to get help, and there needs to be someone besides you two, sort of in there helping you, topping off certain things, just like the antifreeze and the oil. Somebody's under the hood and giving you what you need so that you can keep going smoother and better.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if people have help, but if you need help, Lakeeta and I are available. We will try to make ourselves available for whoever needs it, because everybody needs somebody under their hood every now and then.
Yeah.
Amen.
I like that. That's good. Listen, I'm about to come sit down and talk to y'all all the time.
We got you.
Get my encouragement. But let the people know where they can find you. How can they reach you, see you, listen to you? The podcast lounge.
Yep.
I owe y'all 2 videos, okay? 2 clips. I just thought about that.
Don't
Like,
worry
I
about it.
didn't
We got
finish
you.
my
Don't worry
end.
about it.
But
We got you. And so there's so many ways to contact us. You could just look up Clarence Carter, Instagram, Facebook, look up Lakeeta Carter, Instagram and Facebook. But whether it's the podcastlounge.com, whether it's the good news tour.com, either one of those, that's where a lot of our time and a lot of our energy is going right now.
And
then dbldesignagency.com. And so all 3 of those, it's where most of our energy is going right now. And so reach out to us if you need us. Either one of those platforms, you'll get us or a member of our team.
listen, y'all heard it here first, guys. A young couple, married, but are about to celebrate 20 years. Very inspiring for me because I'm coming up on 14.
Wow.
14 years.
Wow.
14 years. So yeah, so it's inspiring. So please reach out to them. Now, I always close out the show with letting everybody know to be good to yourself because, you know, you are your best and number one priority. So don't forget that. And don't forget to smile at somebody. Come on, y'all. Let me see them smile. Smile. Right. Because smiling is infectious and contagious, and, you know, it will help somebody out. And don't harp on the things that you didn't get the opportunity to do yesterday because today has presented itself a brand new day. If you are seeing this video, we thank God for you. So get out your own way, all right? Get up, get at it, and get active and do something for you because you deserve it. And then listen, if you are in a relationship and or a marriage and you feel like your marriage is failing, what did you say? Get help.
Get help.
Get help.
Get help.
Get help.
So go get the help that you need, but don't give up. Keep and hang in there, like Lakeeta said. Hang in there and just it'll get smooth and it'll get better. But you got to do the work. You have to do the work. All right, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in to Tell the Truth, Tisha. We sat down here with Clarence and Lakeeta Carter. Thank you, guys. I love y'all so much for coming and sit down. I mean, that was good, y'all. I learned. Okay. So yeah, I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Fruit of it, there were some things about Carmen that she did not like. There were some insecurities. There was some low self-esteem. There was some